They say sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some.
Challenging one. The last 10 years, 9 years, I've seen a lot of failures and disappointments and, unanswered hopes and dreams and stuff. And it started creating within me a very negative thought pattern, a very defeated thought pattern. And some of you knowing me and some of you have picked this up on me when I talk, and I will say something that, some people will correct me sometimes and say, no, don't say that, that's not true, you're not like that, you're like this. But it's because of all the failures and disappointments and things that happened in my life that I started to believe that that's the norm. It's like this. You climb into a tree as a kid, you fall out. What do? You jump up. That's what I used to do. I just climb back up. But the older you get, when you drop out of that tree, you're like, man, I'm not going up that tree again. That's over. I'm not climbing that tree again. And that's life. Sometimes we fall off that bicycle and we just don't want to get back on it. No, it's not for me. It's not what I'm supposed to be or who I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do. And that is what this message is all about today, a shepherd's mindset. Look at the scripture today is in 1 Samuel 17, 34 to 37. The Lord who saved me from the claws and the teeth of the lion and the bear will save me from this Philistine. A shepherd's mindset. I'll kill the giant. A shepherd's mindset. A bear and a lion can come, I'll kill them. A shepherd's mindset. And it's something we need to cultivate. It's something we need to learn, because I do believe that many of us in this house and in this family, some are not here today because of the Goliaths they are facing. Some of us are facing Goliaths, the giants in front of us. It strikes us with fear. It makes us feel paralyzed. It makes us stum. Stum. Do you know stum? You know what it means? Mute. Mute. Quiet. Sickness, disease, heartache, broken relationships, troubled marriages, addictions. These are all things we're facing. And some of these things are so big, they're like Goliath to us. Financial ruin, poverty, pride, anger. I can go on. Whatever it is that you are facing, today we're going to learn from a shepherd boy, from David, what mindset you need to face your giant, to face your Goliath. Amen?
Amen.
All right. So the first thing David did, so let me say this to you. I've hunted a few times in my life, and as many times as I've hunted, I've also missed. Anybody ever hunted in the room? Anybody? Okay, 1, 2. Anybody missed? 3. Anybody missed? As a hunter, you miss. Yeah? It's part of hunting. David killed the lion and the bear. I am convinced there were times he didn't kill the lion and the bear. I'm not saying this as a theological principle, because it's not in the Bible. But as a hunter, I can tell you, there were times you go out and you miss. I'm 100% certain there were times David went after the lamb and he lost it. Had to be. The times the bear and the lion came and David couldn't save them from the lion's mouth, the bear's mouth. It is logical. It makes sense. But David does not recall those defeats. He says, I've killed both the lion and the bear. And my imagination, my imagination took over, and I wrote how David killed the bear and the lion when I prepared for this. It has nothing to do with the Bible, but it's just, man, it's awesome. How do you kill a bear? A bear is hard to kill. A lion I can almost understand, but a bear, that's something else. But David doesn't recall the times he missed, the defeat. And I can see this little voice in the back of David say, yeah, but you missed 3 other bears. 2 other lions got away. But he doesn't recall that. He only recalls his victory. He refers to his victory, and you and I have to get to that place where we recall what God has done for us, the victories. There are times when you and I have to, in facing our Goliath, in facing our giants, that you have to recall the victories God has given you. The times God showed up. The times when you had your breakthroughs. The times God did answer your prayers. David did not doubt his ability in God and God's ability in him to kill Goliath. Not once. Even though I'm sure he had many defeats, he could have recalled. What are you recalling when you face your troubles? When you face your addiction, do you think of the many times you failed at that? When you face that relationship challenge with your children, with your parents, with your spouse, with your siblings, when you face that relationship challenge, do you recall how many times you failed at it? And isn't it a natural thing? You know, when you have a relationship problem and you go, you say, you know, you apologize to your wife or you apologize to your spouse, what is the first thing they usually say? Oh yeah, this again, you know. Last time you did this, but 2 weeks later you did the same thing again. Isn't it? They love reminding us of our failures. And God says, no. Look at David. He did not think of it. He only recalled his victory. The time he killed the bear. The time he slain the lion. In Jude chapter 1 verse 20 and 21 it says this. Jude chapter 1. But you, dear friends, must build each other up in your most holy faith. Build each other up in your most holy faith. How do we build each other up? Build yourself up. How? By remembering the defeats? In fact, it's illegal. If you recall sin in your life, you are walking on the grounds of hell. Why? Because that's in the enemy's camp. God says when he forgives, he does what? He wipes away. He wipes it clean. So, you know, in my imagination, when I recall these things, you know, when I kick the dog, all right? You know, when I say kick the dog, I refer to sin in my life, right? I'm not going to tell you all my sins. You know, the time I kick the dog, when I recall that, I can see in my imagination God go, and he turns the page and he's like, oh, but what are you talking about? There's a blank page there. I don't know what you're talking about. It's illegal to recall those days. It's illegal to recall those moments. The enemy wants you to do that so that he can charge you with guilt and shame and take away your confidence. What is confidence? Faith. What is faith? Faith is substance of things hoped for. The confidence, things not seen. Right? So the enemy wants to steal that from you. He wants to take the confidence of David away. So I can imagine you and I standing before troubles, before challenges in our life, and the enemy is in the back here. Oh, do you remember when you did this? Do you remember when that happened? You can't overcome addiction. Look how many times you failed. No, I can. With God in me, through Christ in me, I can do all things. Amen?
Amen.
Build up your faith. Build your faith up. Talk about it. Think about it. Remember the victories. Sit down with God and say, Lord, it's just awesome that time. You know, and guys, this is how it works. This is bad experience. The lion and the bear gave David experience in facing Goliath. He may not have been a soldier. He may not have been trained in armor and sword fighting at that stage. But he had experience saving the lamb from the lion and the bear. Amen? So when David showed up, and I love this, he shows up and his brothers are like, you're just this arrogant little boy, and I know what you're doing here. You just want to brag about what you've seen on the battlefield back home. And David says this, he says, do I not have a reason to be here? I've earned my stripes, bro. I've killed a bear and a lion. What have you killed recently? I'm transliterating, okay? David didn't say those things, but David knew he had a purpose there. And this is the thing about it. The experience you gain through life is to enable you, is to give you tools, skills to face your Goliath. Hear me out. Hear this. Just wake up your neighbor there, please. Just wake up your neighbor. He's half asleep. Oh, he's not. Oh, he's praying. Okay. Just hear this out. God will not put Goliath in front of you if He has not prepared you.
Amen.
Amen.
God
God will not let you face your Goliath if you are not able to defeat him.
Amen.
That's it. It's simple as that.
Yes.
But here is the flip side of that. We all have to deal with stuff in daily life. It's part of life. Challenges is part of life. There's a reason for it.
Yes.
Embrace it. Kill the bear. Kill the lion. Don't run away from it. Because that's going to prepare you for the Goliath of tomorrow. God is building you up. God is getting you to experience. Life is your training ground. Today is the training ground for tomorrow's victory or tomorrow's battle. Make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
And here is the thing. God prepares you to win. God is preparing you to overcome.
Amen.
Amen.
He calls us more than conquerors. What is more than a conqueror? I mean, what can be more than the Crusaders conquered, right? What's more than that? Well, what is more than a conqueror is someone who never fought the battle but they the victory.
Wow.
You didn't fight the battle.
Yes.
Jesus did it for you.
Thank you, Lord.
And He says, here's the victory. You become more than a conqueror.
Thank you, Lord.
The Goliath in your life cannot win. He cannot defeat you. Because God prepared you for this day. God prepared you for this battle. And I'm certain, we don't have the history, but I'm sure David didn't start with a bear and a lion. Do you understand? I'm pretty sure as a kid he had his little slingshot and he had, little trees and birds and all sorts of stuff he was aiming at.
Tins on the fence.
Tins on the fence, yes. Not sure they had baked beans, but they might have. But I'm sure he practiced on little things and he experienced and he gained experience and he became better at it, more skilled at it. And then the lion came. And then the bear came. And then another one. And he overcame them as he learned. Some he failed at, some he had success at. But he learned. God is putting him through the training ground. You are going through a training ground. Gaining skills every day to deal with your marriage. To deal with broken relationships. Don't give up on it. God has prepared you. God is enabling you. He's given you the tools. And there's something I want to say here that really to me it's amazing. It says, David says this, he says, when the bear and the lion came, I went after it. A shepherd's mindset. A shepherd's mindset. You see, and I'm talking from more personal life. Not everybody's like that. I understand some of you you just conquer. You are just victorious all the time. But for me, certainly, I came to a point where when life happened to me, I was like, yeah, that's just life. I started accepting it as the status quo, as the norm, Broken relationships, yeah, it's just life. Losing money, yeah, it's just life. Anger, yeah, it's just life. Depression, that's just life. What do you expect? After everything you've through, of course you're going to have depression. And unfortunately, we get into this mindset where we start to accept what life throws at us. Instead of raising ourselves up and say, hang on, I am a citizen of heaven.
Amen.
So are you. Tell somebody you're a citizen of heaven, please. Just tell somebody, I'm a citizen of heaven. And in heaven, I don't have to have heartache. I don't have to have broken relationships. I don't have to have sickness and disease.
Amen.
David did not sit back and go, oh yeah, that's just the way, the lion has to eat and the bear has to eat and that's just life and accept it as such. No, his mindset was, hey, you're not taking my sheep. I'm going after you. And he went after them. And he says he saved the lamb from the teeth sometimes. But you do know David didn't just walk up to the lion and went, ding, took the lamb. You understand that, right? You do know lions are dangerous, right? He had to, in my imagination, David had to, make sure he is downwind, right? Yeah, the wind blowing towards him. He had to make sure he's crouching. He had to sneak up on the lion and the bear. And he had to have a spear and a slingshot and a knife and a knopkiri. What do you call that? A staff. A club. Thank you. He had to have all these tools and he had to know how to use these tools. He was skilled in all of that to be able to save the lamb. And I'm telling you, God has given you every tool you need to overcome your depression, to overcome your sickness, to overcome your addiction, to save your marriage. Go after it.
Yes, amen.
Go after it. So I'm not going to allow whatever it is to destroy my marriage. I'm not going to allow this world to steal my children from me. I'm not going to allow whatever it is. I'm not going to allow, I'm going to go after it. Yeah, you caught me. I was unaware of you. You caught my lamb. You took it, but I'm going to go after you. Stand up and fight. It's time that we as Christians get this mindset of a shepherd. Why did David do what he did? He loved his sheep. He absolutely loved his sheep. Actually, Angelina on Wednesday night at the Creative, she read the story where David did something wrong, right? And God said, oh, now I have to punish you. And part of it was God said, I'm going to, the prophet was saying, oh, these sheep will die. And David's like, don't kill the sheep. They did nothing. He loved sheep. He was a shepherd. You will fight for what you love. You will fight if it's worthy, if it's valuable enough to you. Is your freedom from addiction valuable enough?
Yes.
Is a healthy marriage valuable enough? Is a healthy heart to forgive others, is that valuable enough to you?
Yes.
Is your health valuable enough? Will you go after the bear and the lion? Will you say, no more of this, no more robbing, no more stealing, no more killing? Because that's the enemy. He comes to steal, kill and destroy.
Yes.
And you can either say, yeah, that's his function, that's what he does, and accept it, or you have a choice and say, no, I'm going to go after you. And I'm going to overcome.
Amen.
Because I love this. This is valuable to me. Too many of us live under the spirit of this world. We accept the status quo as the norm. You know what, guys, just hear me out about this, please. This is so ridiculous, but in the world this is normal. You're 18 years old in the UK and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 credit cards in the mail. All you have to do is sign on a piece of paper. Some 1,000, some 2,000 pounds. You can have 10,000 pounds within a week to spend, and the rest of your life to pay it off.
Yeah.
We accept it as the norm. Debt. It takes time, it takes strategy, it involves skill. It needs a brave soul to risk stepping out in faith. David was a pretty brave guy, wasn't he? To go after the bear and the lion. Faith needs you to risk. There's no rewards without risk. You'll have to step out by faith. You have to say, gonna do this. It's gonna happen. And here is the awesome thing. When you go after depression, I'm using depression as an example here. When you go after depression, and you fight depression. Yes, you may lose today, you may lose tomorrow, but you don't know the day is coming that you will have victory over depression.
Yes.
And once you have that victory over depression, here is what I want to tell you. You now have earned your stripes. You have earned the liberty, the right, I almost want to call it, to go after depression. So you know what you do? You look around for depression. And when you see depression on another brother or sister, you go after it.
Yes, yes.
You go after it. You defeat it. You fight that with that brother and sister.
Yes.
Because you have earned it. You've taken the time, you've taken the effort, the skills, the knowledge, the tools to overcome it. Now, step out. Last week, Marcella shared with us how her back got healed. You've earned the right. Go after healing. When you see sick people, don't walk by. You go after healing because that was your bear and your lion. And you overcame by faith. Now go after it. Go for healing in others. Do not sit back. Do not hold back. He said, I killed the bear and the lion. What is this Philistine to me? He's not a bear nor a lion. He's much bigger. And he has a sword and a shield, and he can use that. Are you here? Do you hear what I'm saying? Your victories gives you the power, the skill, the ability by faith to go after these things. Go after it. Do not sit back. God is developing attributes in you every day. God is building attributes, character within you. And that's why you have to face the lion and the bear. That's why you have to overcome the lion and the bear. Because Goliath is going to show up at some stage in your life. And remember, the good shepherd, Jesus. If David was this passionate about his sheep, how much more is Jesus passionate about you? Do you think Jesus is going to sit back and let the lion steal you?
No.
Never. Never. Jesus will not allow life to destroy you. He will not allow it. No sickness will destroy you because Jesus is your shepherd. And the shepherd's mindset is, I will not let the lion kill the lamb. I'll not let this bear get away with my lamb. God is not going to let the enemy get away with your life and your soul. He will not. He's a shepherd. And he loves you. Knows you by name. Knows how much